Howdy, folks. Since I've gotten the Inspire 1, a lot of people have been asking me questions about it, wanting to know if it's really worth the money that you spend on it. And I have to say, the construction and the flying capabilities of this drone are amazing. And there's not that many videos on the internet that show the details about the construction, how it's put together, the materials that are used. So I put this video together to give you a little bit of an idea of just what is the Inspire 1. One of the first things you notice when you get the Inspire 1 is this really well-made case. It's very strongly made. It's not made for putting on airplanes. You would probably need to get a better, stronger case for that, but this one here is made with a really good durable plastic. The zippers, I wish they'd done something other than the zippers on it, but it really is a nice, good quality case for carrying it around, just around town. And the inside of the case, you'll notice, has got plenty of room. It's got room for an extra radio. It's actually got room for 6 batteries, including the one that's in the craft. It has a really nice carrying case for the camera. Everything fits in nice and snug. I think they use the most amount of space that they can and make it the smallest package possible. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and take it out and show you in detail the Inspire 1. Okay, the very first thing that people do not realize about the Inspire 1 is its transforming capabilities. Right now it is in storage mode, which it's kind of hard to tell with the glass right here, but it's as low as it can possibly get. And you cannot keep the camera on it in this mode. So the very first thing that you do is take it out of storage mode. And the way that that's done, you turn the craft on, you turn the radio on, and as soon as the radio turns green, you flip this switch and it transforms into flight mode. I had to mute the audio. That pulsing noise that you hear is the ultrasonics. This drone has got a camera on the bottom with 2 ultrasonic modules that can tell the distance between the craft and the ground. And as you can tell, I've installed the camera. I'm going to go ahead and boot it up to show you the boot sequence for the camera. It goes through a lot of self-check. The boot sequence, the camera will rotate on its axis. Now this is a 360 degree camera, but it does have limitations. I believe it's actually 580, but the camera will cycle through that, and when it's done cycling, we'll point the camera forward, as you can see here. And we'll start the app up here, and this is one of the most comprehensive apps that I have seen in any drone system right now. What we start off with is the aircraft status. It gives all of the aircraft status, the overall status, your GPS status, your inertial measuring units. All of that stuff is shown up here. If there's anything that is not working properly, it will show up here. As you can see, the radio control channel quality is poor because I'm inside here right now. Once we exit out of that, we can see over here it's got the camera controls, the camera menus. It's got all the information about the camera. This is map mode. We can switch between maps and the camera mode. This is a great navigation tool other than just showing the arrows that show which direction you're traveling. You can actually see it on the map here. And this map is swappable with the camera mode. Once you're in camera mode, then you can select your different menus. We have all of the functions of the camera are changeable. Again, the menu, it gives the photography mode, video mode, and all of the settings are changeable in this particular menu here. We can add the histogram to the screen. We can also show overexposure, which is these little stripes here shows when you're in overexposure. You could turn that on and off. And then we actually have the settings of the camera, the ISO, the shutter speed, and there's the 2 different modes of manual settings. And all of these manual settings are changeable by the thumb wheel on the back of the machine. This is your automatic takeoff and landing, camera position. It also shows you your home position. This here will show you which direction the camera is pointing. In this particular mode, the camera follows the craft. This mode, it is in FPV mode, which will keep the camera pointing forward. And this is free mode. And what this does is the camera, you point the camera in one direction and it will lock on that direction no matter what direction the ship is pointing at. Normal flight mode is the camera facing forward. This is the exposure ring here. You can click on this and set the exposure to whatever you're pointing at. It does it either manually or automatically. Another neat feature about this is if you touch and hold the screen down and move your finger, the camera will automatically move. I call this flying the camera. It works very well. It's neat because you can set your drone up and lock it in one position and you fly the camera around without actually flying the drone around. This also works very well if you have a second radio. You can fly the camera with that second radio. Again, this is the boot up sequence that starts up, shows your aircraft status. Then over here we have your settings that show all the different settings for the aircraft settings, the radio settings, your radio signals, your battery information, which I think is the most comprehensive battery information of any drone. You can set your percentage for low battery warning. It will show you your battery life, your charge times, how many times. It shows you the individual cell strength. And also a neat little feature here is where it says 5-day. You're not supposed to keep a LiPo battery charged for over any long period of time. And in this particular setting, you can change the settings, and after 5 days, if there hasn't been any use, the battery will automatically discharge to storage voltage. And then down here we have the gimbal settings, your camera settings, your gimbal angles, and your calibration modes. So that's it for settings right in there. Up here on the top line gives you all of your status, your GPS status, radio signal status, and the battery status like I mentioned before. Also, it shows all of the information about your pictures. On the radio here, we have the different mode selects. P is GPS, A is ATTI, and F is the programmed mode, which you go into this setting here and it gives you your home lock, course lock, point of interest, and follow me and waypoints. These are all automatic flight modes that you can go into to where basically the craft will just about fly itself. For the inputs or outputs rather, we have HDMI, USB, and then the cable that goes to the iPad itself. There's 2 programmable switches on the back. They can be programmed for camera, where the camera's going to point. You can have it switch your video from video to map mode. You can have it switch to show your battery. Then we've got other controls, your video record, your picture record, tilt for the camera, and then your exposure controls are all on the top thumb wheels. Next, we'll show you the craft itself. Okay, one of the first features that you notice when you get the Inspire 1 is the ability for it to transform. The construction of this system is very well made. It's made with magnesium, stainless steel, aluminum, all carbon fiber. When you go and put it into flight mode, you can see this screw turning that lowers the gear, that lowers the arms. Now the arms themselves are all carbon fiber. This is the version 1. The version 2 has got a different pattern of the carbon fiber. Like I said, everything in here is composite, aluminum, magnesium cast. It's very, very well made, very strong, robust system. All the screws are stainless steel. The motors are very well made. This is a version 1 quick release prop setup. The legs themselves actually have built-in shock absorbers for if you have a rough landing. They will actually absorb some shock, and they also have built in there some heat sinks for the speed controllers. The temperature of the speed controllers can get quite hot, so they have heat sinks. The battery is a very well-made battery. The battery construction fits in with the craft itself. Again, a very robust, good, strong, molded plastic shell. Very, very well built. The actual camera itself is, of course, it's not on. When you put this into travel mode, it has to be on the ground. The signal will bounce off a carpet, and it will not put it in the proper park mode. So it has to be on the ground when you put it into park mode, which is what I'm about to do right now. And then once it goes into park mode, it's safe to turn the aircraft off. Now that the aircraft is off, we'll take a look at the two ultrasonic modules and the vision positioning system. It uses the vision positioning system to help keep it located when there's no GPS. This is the mount for the gimbal. As you can tell, it's all robust, rubber dampened to get rid of any jelloing effect. It's a very sturdy system. The X5 camera uses a completely different mount system. It mounts in the same area. Again, the battery is very well built. It actually is part of the airframe. The battery is very well built. 4,500 milliamp 6-cell 22-volt battery gives about an 18-minute flight time. You can also check your cell voltage or your battery by pushing the button in once. Each light corresponds to 25% of the charge. Again, it's a very sturdy system. The battery connectors, the two main connectors, and the 4 pins enable the craft to communicate with the radio to tell you your individual cell voltage, cell strength, and all the other details about the battery. Again, it's aluminum, composite plastics, and again, carbon fiber arms, composite joints. It's a very, very well built, very strong system. One of the other nice features about the system is the ability for it to automatically record your flight data. It does this automatically. There's nothing that you have to do. It gives you your altitude, your flight distance, your flight time, your speeds. It shows you where each picture was taken so that you can review that at a later time. I'm going to change the speed here and show you that you can play back your flight either in real time or up to 8 times faster. It gives you all of the data as you're going through your flight, showing you exactly where you are in the flight, the direction your camera was facing when you took pictures. You can also show here your radio controls, where your stick movement was while you're doing these particular flights. It comes in really handy if you take a bunch of pictures and you land and you find that the picture wasn't the quality or something was wrong. You can actually go back and look back at your flight data recorder and see that information and be able to copy that flight in your next flight. It's an amazing system, very well made, very well thought out, and it's one of the only systems that I know of that gives you all of this information that's recorded automatically in your flight data recorder system. It also comes in handy if you have to do any warranty work. You can take this data and send that in to DJI, and they can analyze that to find out if it is actually a warranty problem or if it's something else. And the last really neat feature that DJI has is the flight simulator. It's built into the system. You have to have the drone has to be on. All of the flight controls are exactly the same as if you were actually flying. Of course, the only difference is that it's not showing the picture coming from the camera, and the map is not swappable. But all the other data is there. It gives you. It shows you the craft, it shows you your speed, your direction, your altitudes, everything exactly the same way it is if you are flying. It shows you your maps and shows you exactly where you are in relationship. It's a GPS mapping is what it is. So it's showing in real time. If you are actually flying, this flight shows you where you would be in the sky. It's a very, very neat put together. The controls are very realistic. It also gives you the ability to switch over into your different flight modes to do your waypoints. So it does not do follow me in this mode. It also gives you the ability to really get to know your camera settings and just basically to get to know the entire craft itself. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope the information was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them whenever I can. Thank you for watching.